In 1975, an Amana range shipped with a porcelain enamel interior, a 10-year warranty, and a service life that routinely hit 25 years. Today, the average microwave dies in 7. Warranties have shrunk to 3 years, and the Consumer Product Safety Commission has logged over 1,200 incidents linked to the exact components manufacturers quietly downgraded to slash costs by 40%. 9 out of 10 new microwaves now carry these same compromised parts. This isn't bad luck. It's a factory secret, and it starts with a single design decision made thousands of miles from your kitchen. Alex Rivera keeps a battered ledger behind the counter of his appliance repair shop. The earliest entries date to 1982, microwaves with model numbers that read like license plates, each one tagged with a service call and a return visit years later. Back then, a microwave wasn't just another kitchen gadget. It was a major purchase, built to last longer than most mortgages. The Amana range, introduced in the late 1970s, set the standard. Owners routinely logged 25 years of reliable use. Porcelain enamel coated the interior, resisting chips and stains even after a decade of daily cooking. The heavy-gauge steel chassis made these machines weigh nearly twice as much as today's models. Rivera's records show units from 1979 still running in the same households through the late 1990s, with only minor repairs, usually a door switch or a light bulb. Consumer surveys from that era back this up. The typical service life for a solid-state microwave was 20 to 30 years, with failure rates so low that extended warranties felt almost unnecessary. Manufacturers didn't just hope their products would last, they guaranteed it. 10-year warranties were common, and service manuals included detailed instructions for replacing nearly every part. A magnetron, the heart of the microwave, responsible for generating the cooking energy, was rated for more than 10,000 hours of use. Capacitors and relays were overbuilt, often exceeding their specified endurance by a factor of 2. Even the door latches were made from stamped steel, designed to withstand thousands of open and close cycles without loosening or cracking. Rivera remembers customers bringing in their microwaves for preventive maintenance after 15 years, not because something had failed, but because the machines had become family fixtures. One unit, logged in his book as Amana 1984, blue trim, survived 3 kitchen remodels and outlasted the original refrigerator and dishwasher. The only real enemy was neglect. As long as the interior enamel stayed intact and the vents were kept clear, these machines just kept running. This level of durability wasn't unique to a single brand. Sharp, Panasonic, and GE all produced models with similar build quality. Consumer Reports in 1988 described the average microwave as a once-in-a-generation investment. Owners expected their ovens to last at least as long as their cars, and the numbers supported that expectation. A 1989 survey found that more than 60% of households still used their first microwave, and repair shops like Rivera's thrived on small jobs, not replacements. The difference is clear in the numbers. Where a 1970s or 1980s microwave could easily see 25 years of service, today's models struggle to reach 8. The warranties have shrunk, the materials have changed, and the repair logs tell a different story. Rivera's old ledger offers a benchmark, a time when build quality and longevity were the rule, not the exception. In a Guangdong factory, Li Wei watched the last metal latches leave the line. By 2005, the shift was official. Stamped steel replaced by injection-molded plastic, all to keep costs under 70 cents per latch. Supplier memos confirmed the change. Acrylic and polycarbonate would now do the job, slashing latch expenses by 40%. But lab tests told a different story. Plastic latches cracked after just 2,000 cycles, about 3 years of daily use. Failures led to misaligned doors, broken seals, and a surge in service calls for stuck or loose doors. The same cost-cutting logic reached deeper. Magnetrons, once sourced from a range of global suppliers, now came almost entirely from a few factories in southern China. Procurement memos and equipment filings showed that by 2015, the bulk of magnetrons for US brands came from just 3 companies. These tubes, rated at 1,000 watts, passed factory tests at peak power. But FCC filings allowed for a 20 to 30% power drop after 2,000 hours. Independent labs found 3-year-old units running at just 700 watts, even as control panels still displayed 1000 W. Longer cook times and uneven heating followed, putting extra strain on other parts and nudging owners toward replacement. Acrylic interior coatings, chosen for their low price and easy manufacturing, introduced new risks. The material scratched and chipped far more easily than the old porcelain enamel, trapping food and grease. Safety regulator lab reports found that chipped acrylic caused hot spots, arcing, and sometimes even small fires. Manufacturers cut material costs by up to 40%, but the trade-off was a cavity that often failed within 5 years. Service centers flagged a sharp rise in calls for sparking or burn marks, nearly all tied to these new coatings. Control boards, once built with generous safety margins, were now designed to last just beyond the warranty. Supplier documents detailed the shift to minimum viable boards, with relays and capacitors rated for 2,000 cycles, again, about 3 years of typical use. When these boards failed, replacement often cost more than half the price of a new microwave, making repair a losing proposition for most. Ellie Wei, listed in a 2022 corporate directory, described the pressure to meet a 2024 power degradation target for magnetrons in an email to a journalist. Independent evidence backs up his claim. Supplier acceptance sheets cap cycle counts at 2,500, and warranty policies limit support to 3 years. These failures are not accidental. They are deliberate, documented choices, each one shaving dollars from the bill of materials, each one shortening the appliance's life. Repair shops now see latches snapping after 2,000 uses, magnetrons losing a third of their power by year 3, and interiors arcing before 5 years. The shortcuts are written into contracts and memos. For millions of households, the result is the same: a microwave that rarely survives a decade.
Toshiba, Farberware, Black & Decker, Emerson, Oster, and Hamilton Beach. These are the names that come up again and again in repair shop logs and consumer complaint databases. Statistically, their first-year failure rates outpace the industry average by a wide margin. According to Consumer Reports data from 2025, 6.2% of Toshiba microwaves required repair or replacement within the first 12 months. Farberware fared even worse, with 7.8% of units failing in year 1, most commonly due to defective capacitors or door switches. Black & Decker and Emerson branded models clustered just behind, with documented rates between 6% and 8%. Hamilton Beach, a staple of big box store shelves, shows a 9% claim rate for control board failures and latch problems in the same period. The pattern isn't just statistical. Alex Rivera, the repairman with the battered ledger, says his shop turns away most of these brands outright. "If it's a Toshiba or a Hamilton Beach, I don't even open it," he says. The parts are either discontinued or the cost to fix is more than a new unit. Service centers across the Midwest report the same. Proprietary control boards for GE, Whirlpool, and Hamilton Beach are often marked obsolete within 3 years of a model's release. Once a board fails, the only option is a full assembly swap, running $180 to $260 compared to $30 to $55 for a part on a Panasonic inverter model. The Better Business Bureau's warranty claim records back up the trend. Models introduced after 2015 averaged just 7.4 years before a major failure, and the steepest part of the failure curve hits right after the 3rd year, when most warranties expire. For these brands, the ODDS are stacked against the buyer. Higher early failure rates, shrinking parts windows, and repair costs that make replacement the default. For consumers, the badge on the door is no longer a promise of reliability, it's a warning sign. Alex Rivera flips open the service manual for a 2022 model and points to a single daunting line: replace integrated waveguide magnetron assembly. The price listed for this sealed block, $150 to $280 depending on brand, stops most customers cold. In older units, a failing magnetron or capacitor could be swapped out for $25 to $60 in parts, with the job done in under an hour. But with the new sealed design, every component is welded or glued into a single, non-serviceable housing. If any part inside fails, the only option is to replace the entire block. Labor adds to the blow. Most shops charge at least 2 hours for the job, pushing the total repair bill well over $300. For a microwave that cost $129 at retail,
The math is brutal. Rivera's repair logs show that 9 out of 10 customers choose to toss the unit rather than pay for a new sealed assembly. Even if someone wants to repair, there's another catch. Parts distributors only guarantee availability for 3 years after a model's release. After that, the sealed block is marked obsolete, and the unit is effectively unfixable. Supplier price lists confirm the shift. The modular parts that once kept microwaves running for decades now sit on the sidelines, replaced by single-use assemblies that lock out affordable fixes. For manufacturers, the sealed block streamlines production and inventory. For consumers, it means that a single blown diode or a cracked waveguide isn't just a minor setback, it's a death sentence for the entire appliance. As more families face this repair math, broken microwaves linger in kitchens, used with failing seals or chipped interiors, raising the risk of fire, arcing, and radiation leaks. The economics of the sealed assembly don't just drive replacement, they quietly push millions to keep using unsafe, aging machines. Inside a modern microwave, invisible hazards build long before the machine stops working. Independent lab tests start with a simple procedure. Place a calibrated field probe 5 centimeters from the door seam, run the oven at full power, and record the microwave leakage. On a 2-year-old unit, the meter reads 3 milliwatts per square centimeter, well under the FDA's safety limit of 5 milliwatts per square centimeter. But after 5 years of typical use, the same test jumps to 5.6 milliwatts per square centimeter. By year 8, the reading can hit 7.4 or even 8 milliwatts per square centimeter. That's not a rare outlier. It's a documented pattern tied to worn door latches and degraded seals, especially in models built with plastic hardware. The danger doesn't end at the door. When the acrylic interior coating chips or scratches, lab technicians see sparks leap from the cavity walls to the metal waveguide. A flash of arcing that scorches the surface and sometimes ignites trapped grease. In controlled tests, 1 in 3 acrylic-coated units showed visible arcing after simulated 4-year use. High-speed video captures the moment a spark jumps, and within seconds, the cavity fills with the sharp odor of ozone. Service logs link 30% of microwave-related fires to these internal flashes, not to user error or food mishaps. These failures don't always shut down the oven. Many keep running, leaking microwaves or hiding burn marks behind a closed door. The numbers are clear. As materials and seals wear, the risk of both radiation leakage and fire increases, often years before a consumer realizes anything is wrong. Maya reads from the latest CPSC incident report. 1,214 microwave-related events logged in a single year. The breakdown is stark. 58% tied to arcing or electrical flashes, 5% to fires starting in ventilation ducts. These aren't distant statistics. Each number represents a kitchen where a spark jumped, a vent filled with smoke, or a family scrambled to unplug a machine gone suddenly rogue. The majority of these cases trace back to the same culprits: chipped acrylic interiors, failing plastic latches, and sealed assemblies that can't be fixed. The CPSC's database, built from emergency room visits and fire marshal reports, lays out the pattern in black and white. A surge in arcing events follows the adoption of cheaper coatings and fragile door hardware. Ventilation fires, though less common, often start when grease collects behind warped plastic panels, then ignites with a single stray spark. For every headline-grabbing fire, there are dozens more near misses. Microwave doors that no longer seal, units that leak microwaves above the legal safety limit, or small fires that die out before help arrives. The numbers make it clear, buying a microwave is no longer just about price or convenience. Safety has become a deciding factor. Panasonic, Breville, and Sharp stand out in a market crowded with short-lived microwaves. Service center data shows that Panasonic inverter models post a failure rate below 2% over 5 years, far better than the industry average. Breville's stainless steel interiors and automotive-grade connectors keep their units running for 12 years or more, with parts still available after a decade. Sharp's commercial-grade Carousel series, designed for heavy use, reports less than 1% latch failures and under 2% magnetron degradation. Consumer Reports reliability surveys confirm these numbers, placing these brands in the top quartile for longevity and repairability. Alex Rivera demonstrates the cost math in his shop ledger.
Buying a $350 Panasonic inverter and keeping it for 12 years saves about $720 compared to cycling through three $120 budget models, each failing within 7 years. The warranty length is a key signal. Units with 3-year or longer coverage nearly always use higher-rated components and serviceable designs. Look for inverter technology, stainless steel interiors, and a warranty of at least 3 years. These features are not just marketing, they're backed by lower repair rates and longer parts support, turning a risky purchase into a smart investment. Choosing a microwave that lasts starts with a close look at materials and labels. Stainless steel interiors cut arcing risk by 70% in lab tests, compared to acrylic linings that chip and spark after only a few years. When shopping, check the cavity. Stainless steel resists scratches and grease buildup, extending both safety and service life. Next, scan the FCC ID printed on the back or inside the door. This number links to the federal database where you can confirm if the magnetron is still supported. A current FCC authorization means parts are likely available for at least 5 more years. Maya demonstrates this step in her kitchen, pulling up the FCC database on her phone and finding her Panasonic's magnetron listed as active. For those on a budget, refurbished commercial-grade models can be a smart move. On average, a refurbished unit costs 30% less than new, but lasts just as long and often comes with a fresh warranty. Registering your microwave right after purchase also pays off. Service center data shows that owners who keep receipts and register their unit have a 30% better chance of getting free parts or a replacement if something fails within the warranty window. These steps, choosing stainless steel, checking FCC IDs, buying refurbished when possible, and registering for warranty, put real leverage back in the hands of consumers. Washing machines that once lasted 20 years now average just a decade before hitting the curb. Refrigerators, dishwashers, even dryers all show the same pattern. A steady drop in service, lifetime, fueled by the same design shortcuts and supply chain cost cuts that gutted the microwave. National lifespan studies confirm the trend. In 1990, the typical washer ran for 2 decades. Today, 10 years is considered a good run. The story isn't unique to any one appliance or brand. It's a coordinated shift across the industry, reinforced by policy and lobbying muscle. 12 states, including California, New York, and Illinois, have introduced right-to-repair bills aimed at restoring access to parts and service documentation. But every proposal so far has included an exemption for appliances under $500, a carve-out that covers almost every microwave sold in the U.S. Open. Secrets data shows $12.3 million spent by appliance manufacturers to lobby against these bills between 2020 and 2023, most of it aimed at keeping the sub-$500 loophole in place. A lobbying effort. Industry talking points cite safety and consumer protection, but internal memos obtained by repair advocates admit the real motive is to control the repair market and shorten the replacement cycle. Maya stands shoulder to shoulder with other right-to-repair supporters at a Statehouse rally. Their message is simple: individual buying choices matter, but lasting change will only come when repair rights are restored for all. The fight is bigger than microwaves. It's about whether consumers have the power to decide when an appliance's life should end, not the manufacturer.
More than 9 out of 10 new microwaves are engineered to fail within a few years. By design, not by accident. As warranty periods shrink and safety complaints rise, real consumer choice comes from demanding better, buying smarter, and refusing to accept disposable appliances as the norm. The battle for durability and repair rights is not theoretical. It is happening every time you choose what comes into your kitchen. Share your thoughts below.